friends, my name is Emily and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing part 1 of my June wrap-up. So the first book I actually DNF'd because I read 3 out of 4 short stories in Radicalized by Cory Doctorow. So this was for a book club and I started skimming the final story and was just like, nope. Like, it took me forever to read this book. I could not get into it. I kept putting it down. It's supposed to be 4 tales of the present moment, very much like Black Mirror, like just pushing what is happening now a little bit further, or to its logical conclusion, or maybe illogical conclusion. The problem I had with it is twofold. I hated the writing. There were so many moments where it felt like Doctorow didn't trust the reader. From just reading the story, you should pick up on something, but then Doctorow would have a character state something explicitly. It was insulting, it was patronizing, and it drove me nuts with how much it happened. The second thing that I disliked was that a lot of these stories of present moment didn't resonate with me. I have said before that Sleeping Beauties by Stephen King feels like 2 white privileged men mansplaining the patriarchy to people. This feels like a fairly privileged cis man mansplaining political issues to people. Maybe it's because this isn't for me. Maybe it's because the average reader of sci-fi, the average reader of Cory Doctorow might need these issues mansplained to them. But I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy the experience. The first story is about a new immigrant to the States who gets put in shitty affordable housing, and the only reason she has space in this housing is because, for tax reasons, the builder had to put a certain number of poor people apartments into the building, and the other side is like super, like they're literally 2 doors. And so the other side has like 15 elevators. They prioritize the rich people. The poor side of the building has like a million flights of stairs and like 1 elevator that will open for them out of the 15, and only when a rich person isn't using it. And so it's about these immigrants' creative ways to get around this, like jailbreaking the elevator, which they get in trouble for. So part of the, I guess, the affordability of the apartment is the cut that the landlords are getting back from the appliance companies by providing these specific branded appliances that only cook branded food. So it's like the Apple product of cookware, so that in order to make toast in your toaster, you have to buy the Apple brand of toast, and it like scans the toast and it won't toast other toast. And so of course this food is more expensive. The second book is about a superhero, basically like Mr. America, who sees a black man being brutalized by the police, and after like hundreds of years of observing American society is like, racism is wrong. I'm gonna do something. The pill here is about a man whose wife has terminal cancer, and then surprise, she doesn't anymore, but he's still involved in these really negative, like gun-happy man forums, where these really angry men who are like, I paid into my insurance forever and they won't cover my wife. Obviously this is set in the States. The logical conclusion is to just feed each other toxic information and encourage suicide bombing medical institutions. And the final one that I started and just didn't give 2 shits about anymore is about this end-of-the-world netter who creates a bunker, and then apparently he has this like safe house. They keep excluding people, but then in the safe house everybody ends up with some sort of like flu that gives them diarrhea. It basically sounds like they get cholera, but it's probably not cholera. So everybody is just shitting themselves to death. As I'm talking about some of these themes in like short, you would think that this sounds like something that I would like, but I hated every fucking moment of reading this book. Would not recommend it. 0 out of 10. DNF'd it, and it put me in a reading slump So I decided it was time to start the Harry Potter rereads. I have 2 rereads planned for this year. One of them is Harry Potter, one of them is the Tamora Pierce bibliography. So I reread Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. It was so much fun to pick up a book that I know I loved, get back into this world. This time around, I feel like I was really struck by the abuse that the young Harry Potter faced in the hands of the Dursleys. Like, I know children's lit often does this thing where like adults are just terrible, like comically terrible, but if you think about what sort of human that should have resulted in, it hurt my heart to read about the way that they treat Harry when they bring him to the zoo for the first time and he gets an ice lolly for the first time because the woman at the concession stand, they're buying Dudley and his friend these like gorgeous ice cream sundaes, and then the woman at the desk is like, and for your 3rd child? And they were like, oh, it would be socially awkward to admit that we abuse this child, so yeah, we'll get him the cheapest thing and a lemon popsicle, literally like cheap frozen ice water compared to these like beautiful ice cream sundaes. Harry's like, it was actually pretty tasty. It was really cool to get a treat. And I'm like, oh, Harry Potter getting his first popsicle. Deeply enjoyed this, definitely got me out of my reading slump. And after that, I picked up some trashy YA. And this is We Contain Multitudes by Sarah Henstra. So this is a piece of queer YA fiction, specifically gay YA fiction, and it looks at 2 boys. They become pen pals via an English teacher's cross-grade project. John, who Adam Kurlansky calls Joe, Little Joe, is a huge Walt Whitman fan to the point that he basically cosplays as Walt Whitman, and he is gay and like openly gay and experiences quite a bit of just homophobic, terrible bullying. Adam Kurlansky, aka Curl, is struggling. He randomly quit the football team. He's always coming into school with bruises on his face. They get paired up as this pen pal project, and they slowly develop a friendship and then maybe more. And the 2 of them are really drawn together by this. For Joe, it's a love of Walt Whitman. For Adam, it's a growing appreciation and love of Walt Whitman. I feel like these characters sort of suffer from that like John Greenism, where the characters speak like very literate adults, but I enjoyed that. I think if you're looking for like authentic teenage voice, this is not what you're getting, but if you're sort of looking for somebody who could be a fan of Walt Whitman's Song of Myself, Leaves of Grass, all that jazz, if you like more literate YA, that maybe sounds harsh. If you like YA that leans more towards literary fiction than popular or genre fiction, this could be for you. The next book that I read was Everything Leads to You by Nina LaCour. So this is a story of Emmy, who lives in LA and is heavily involved in the film industry. She wants to go into specifically set design, set dressing. So right now she's working on a project that her older brother, who is also in the film industry, made her this connection. She has this really shitty day at work with her ex. She has this on-again, off-again relationship with her ex-girlfriend. Charlotte and Emmy go to an estate sale, and it's this famous actor who has done a ton of westerns, famous bachelor, and he has passed away and his estate is up for sale, and so they go. Charlotte buys a record, and they come back from this, they're hanging out in the apartment, they pull the record out of the sleeve, and out falls this note that is this famous actor's will, essentially. Turns out he has a secret daughter that the public didn't know about, and that daughter has a granddaughter, or not a granddaughter, that daughter has a daughter. So this famous actor has mentioned in this letter that there is an account full of money for this granddaughter, and they're like, oh shit, we need to find this granddaughter because nobody knows that this actor has family or that this account exists. Like, there's no way to trace this. So instead of giving it to the authorities or to some sort of like the lawyer running the estate sale, they decide to go on this adventure for themselves and try and track down, first of all, the daughter, and then the unnamed granddaughter. And then there is also a queer relationship that happens for Emmy that helps her move on from her sort of toxic relationship with her girlfriend. The pro for this is it's just queer people being queer people, which is something that you've heard me say a lot if you've watched this channel, where I talk about how many YA coming out stories I've read, which are important but not the only thing that queer people do. On the one hand, I really appreciated that this isn't a coming out novel. Like, there's multifacetedness to this person. The whole narrative isn't consumed by her coming out. And like, there's a time and a place for coming out. On the other hand, I feel like because it was just so casually queer people being queer people, I feel like I didn't fully buy the romance. I think it's because I read the blurb. Emmy must move beyond the walls of her carefully crafted world to chase down the loose ends of a movie icon's hidden life, leading her to uncover a decades-old secret and the potential for something truly epic. Love. Everything leads to you, plus that like idea of epic love sort of had me framing this narrative from the perspective of I was going to get epic love, and I feel like I didn't. And I mean, that's okay. I think that's like my expectations largely came from the paratext of the title and the blurb. If you want to read this, go into it thinking like, this is a young person at the start of her career, and it's a queer person being a queer person. This isn't an epic love story. And I think having a different framing might change your experience with the text. Those are the 4 books that I read in the first part of June. Let me know your thoughts on these books in the comments down below. Before we go, we have to thank my patrons. Thank you, patrons, for making videos like this and long-form content like the Dark Tower series possible. I really appreciate the work that you enable me to do. If you are interested in becoming a patron, having early access to videos, all that jazz, links to the patron page will be in the description box down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you soon with part 2. Bye.